Welcome to Sportpen. Today we're diving headfirst into the remarkable ascent of a figure who, well, really transcended sport itself, Muhammad Ali.
Absolutely, a true icon.
We're going to trace those pivotal moments, the sheer force of his will, and those electrifying performances that forged the legend.
It's a fascinating story, and it starts, interestingly enough, with something quite mundane.
Right, the stolen bicycle story.
Exactly. Young Cassius Clay, his bike gets stolen, he wants to report it, maybe even fight the thief.
And he runs into Joey Martin.
A police officer, yeah, but also a boxing coach. He sees something in Clay, tells him he should learn to box first, steers him towards his gym.
And that small moment just ignites this incredible amateur career.
Incredible is the word. 6 Kentucky Golden Gloves titles. That alone is impressive.
Plus the Chicago Golden Gloves, National Golden Gloves, AAU titles. It just keeps going.
And culminating, of course, in the light heavyweight gold medal at the 1960 Rome Olympics.
An amateur record of 100 wins and just 5 losses. That's phenomenal groundwork before even turning pro.
It really shows the talent and the dedication right from the start. But even that Olympic gold medal has its own layer of complexity, doesn't it?
You mean the story about throwing it into the Ohio River?
Yeah, the account in his autobiography being refused service at a whites-only restaurant, that powerful act of defiance. It's a potent image.
But one that's been disputed by some friends later on, right?
Correct. Whether it happened exactly like that or not, it definitely speaks to the racial injustice he faced, the sting of that discrimination.
And getting that replacement medal years later at the 96 Atlanta Olympics feels significant. Like a circle closing, maybe?
Perhaps. A recognition, certainly. So he turns pro in 1960, wins his debut, a 6-rounder against Tunney Hunsaker.
And just keeps winning. By the end of 63, he's 19-0, 15 knockouts.
He wasn't just padding his record either, taking on guys like Tony Asperti, Doug Jones, even Archie Moore.
His former trainer. That must have been, well, awkward.
You'd think so. Apparently, there were disagreements about training methods, which led to him leaving Moore's camp earlier.
And that's when Angelo Dundee comes into the picture.
Yes, hired in 1960. That partnership with Dundee became legendary in itself, didn't it? A cornerstone of his professional career.
Definitely. And they needed that strong foundation heading towards the 1964 title fight against Sonny Liston.
Oh, listen, he was this force. Intimidating reputation, criminal past, adding to the aura, just fearsome.
And Clay was the massive underdog. Was it 8-1?
Something like that, yeah. Nobody really gave him a chance against Liston's power.
But Clay, he completely flipped the script beforehand, didn't he? With the psychological stuff.
Oh, absolutely. The taunting, the poems, calling him the big, ugly bear, predicting the knockout.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Exactly. He basically turned the whole lead-up into a media circus, getting right under Liston's skin. It was performance art, almost.
And incredibly effective. He understood media manipulation way ahead of his time.
He really did. And then the fight itself. The huge upset. Liston can't answer the bell for the 7th round. Shoulder injury.
And just like that, at 22, Cassius Clay is the youngest heavyweight champion. A seismic moment in sports.
Truly transformative. And then, almost immediately, another bombshell.
The name change.
Yes. First to Cassius X, then, after fully embracing the Nation of Islam, influenced heavily by Malcolm X, he becomes Muhammad Ali.
A hugely significant and controversial move at the time, especially in the America of the 1960s.
It signaled a profound shift, publicly aligning himself with a movement and ideals far outside the mainstream, far beyond just boxing.
And then came the rematch with Liston in 65.
Ah, the rematch. Even more controversial, perhaps.
The phantom punch over in the first round. Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, that punch is still debated endlessly. Did it land? How hard? It just added to the whole Ali mystique, the controversy that seemed to follow him.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
But whatever you think of that specific moment, his command over the narrative, over his own image, just grew and grew.
He was magnetic, brash, charming, funny, utterly captivating.
Master of the trash talk, creating these epic stories around his fights, declaring himself the king of the world, the greatest.
You couldn't ignore him. He became one of the most photographed people on the planet, a global phenomenon.
And that verbal skill, the rhyming, the boasts, people have drawn lines from that to early rap music.
It's a credible link, I think, that rhythmic bragging style. LL Cool J actually credited Ali with coining GOAT, greatest of all time, and inspiring his music.
You can hear it, can't you? I done wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. Pure Ali.
Pure poetry and bravado, but underneath the showmanship, there was this core of, well, conviction.
A real alignment of mind, spirit, body. Like he brought his faith and his martial discipline together.
And a willingness to stand absolutely firm on his beliefs. Which leads us to perhaps the most defining moment outside the ring.
The draft refusal in 1967.
Yes, refusing induction into the U.S. Army, citing his religious beliefs as a minister in the Nation of Islam, and his opposition to the Vietnam War.
War is against the teachings of the Quran. In that famous line,
I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. A statement that echoed around the world. Hugely controversial.
immensely brave, too, considering the climate. He even met with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. about it.
He did. And Dr. King, despite maybe some tactical differences over time, supported Ali's principled stand against the war.
But the establishment reaction was swift and harsh.
Oh, absolutely. Stripped of his heavyweight title almost immediately. Boxing license suspended. He was condemned widely in the American media.
Basically exiled from his sport during his peak years.
3.5 years, roughly, a huge chunk of an athlete's prime.
Yet, he didn't just disappear. He became an even more prominent figure, speaking out, touring colleges.
He remained incredibly visible, and there was that weird super fight thing in 1969, too.
Oh, yeah, the computer fight against Rocky Marciano.
A bizarre, privately staged fantasy bout while he was banned. They filmed sparring sessions, fed data into a computer.
And got different results for the U.S. and European broadcasts.
Right.
Just added to the Ali circus.
Kept his name out there, certainly. But the real breakthrough was the legal one.
1971. The Supreme Court overturns his draft evasion conviction. Unanimously.
A massive vindication. And it cleared the path for his return to sanctioned boxing.
And he didn't ease back in, did he? Fought Jerry Quarry fairly quickly. Then beat Jimmy Ellis.
Setting up the first epic showdown with Joe Frazier in 71, the fight of the century.
Madison Square Garden. The hype was unbelievable. 2 undefeated heavyweight champions.
It was more than a fight. It was a cultural event, a clash of personalities, styles, even politics in a way.
And Ali suffered his first professional defeat. A brutal 15-round war.
A tough loss, but maybe necessary in a way. It set the stage for even greater drama down the line.
You mean leading up to George Foreman?
Exactly, especially after Foreman just destroyed Frazier and Ken Norton, 2 guys who had given Ali hell. Foreman looked unstoppable.
Terrifyingly so. That power was something else. So heading into Zaire in 1974, the Rumble in the Jungle.
Foreman was the heavy favorite. Most people thought Ali was, frankly, washed up or just didn't have the power to hurt Foreman.
And then Ali pulls out one of the most brilliant, unexpected strategies in boxing history.
The rope-a-dope. Leaning back on the ropes, covering up, letting Foreman punch himself out in the Zaire heat, taunting him all the while.
That was audacious.
Risky.
Incredibly risky. But it worked. He absorbed the punishment, waited for his moment, and then knocked Foreman out in the 8th round. A stunning, stunning victory.
And the atmosphere in Zaire, the way the people embraced him, that chant.
Ali Boumaier. Ali, kill him! Yeah, they saw him as one of them, a symbol of black pride and resistance against seemingly insurmountable forces, like Foreman.
It really elevates the discussion beyond just boxing, doesn't it? What does greatness even mean? Ali's impact was so much bigger than titles.
Absolutely. His courage, standing up for his beliefs, losing everything for them, and then coming back, that resonated globally. It transcended sport.
He became this, teacher of social activism almost. Stand firm for what you believe in. He inspired so many people, not just athletes, but leaders, activists. And he also, interestingly, presented a different kind of black masculinity in the public eye.
How so?
Well, alongside the power and the defiance, there was humor, vulnerability, that charisma. He wasn't just one thing. He became a cultural touchstone for Black America and really for the world.
Incredibly, his boxing career wasn't even over then. He won the heavyweight title twice more.
Remarkable resilience, regaining it from Leon Spinks after losing it, though he eventually lost definitively to Larry Holmes later on. His longevity at the top was amazing.
Then, later in life, came the Parkinson's diagnosis in 1984.
Yeah, which brought another dimension to his public life. There was speculation, of course, about the link to boxing, the head trauma.
Studies later suggested it might have affected his speech even before the official diagnosis.
It's a difficult aspect of his legacy, the physical toll of the sport. But the way he handled the diagnosis, living with it so publicly, helped raise so much awareness and understanding of Parkinson's disease.
He didn't hide away. He continued his humanitarian work, didn't he?
He did, visiting Palestinian refugee camps, supporting Native American rights, receiving humanitarian awards. He remained active as a global figure for peace and understanding.
He just became this massive cultural icon. Movies, Broadway, TV appearances, even his artwork sold for considerable sums.
And the WWE Hall of Fame induction. It just shows how wide his appeal was, crossing all sorts of boundaries.
So when you look back at the whole picture, the boxing skill, the activism, the charisma, the controversy, what's the lasting legacy?
It's multifaceted, isn't it? The incredible boxing prowess is undeniable. The greatest claim, while subjective, is certainly part of the conversation. But I think it's also the courage of his convictions, his impact on civil rights and Black consciousness, his ability to connect with ordinary people worldwide. That's what truly makes him endure.
Muhammad Ali's story really is a powerful reminder that true greatness, well, it transcends athletic achievement, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His unwavering conviction, his masterful use of his platform, and just that enduring spirit, it continues to inspire. Thanks for listening to Sportpen.